Hello, Bailey Family Insurance family. It's John, the head of the Commercial Lines Division, and I'm here with my good friend Allison Arnold from Arlington Row. Recently, Allison just got her designation of a CPLP, which stands for Cyber Professional Liability Practitioner. Guys, cyber liability is quickly becoming something that's very important to make sure that you're educated on. And I brought Allison on because she's the best in the market to be able to help talk about why it's important, how Arlington Row can help, how Bailey Family Insurance can help, and how even if you are kind of unfamiliar with all the cyber threats that are out there, you can still make sure you're protected. So thanks for taking some time and joining with me today, Allison.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And just for those of you who don't know me, I am a professional liability broker with Arlington Row, and I help John, place his professional lines, including that cyber liability. So I'm ready to dive in and answer some questions.
All right, Allison. So first thing we want to know is why has cyber liability insurance become a necessity in today's workforce?
Cyber liability is necessity because it is an exposure for everybody. If you are accepting credit cards, you have the risk. If you have employee information on hand, like a driver's license number, you're going to be at risk. Do you have employees working from home? How secure is your network to all of those remote connections? All of these things leave insureds open to a cyber attack, and you may not realize how susceptible you are. But with the proper IT risk management tools and a robust cyber policy in place, you can feel a little better about when an instance is going to happen to your business. And I did say when, because with cyber liability and cyber attacks, it's not really if it's going to happen to your business. It's really viewed as when it's going to happen because attacks are happening so rampantly right now that it's happening every day, everywhere, in every sector. We're seeing small town local owner companies getting hit as well as those large city corporations. So, and if you don't have a policy in place, it can be really detrimental to your business. And I do have a graph that shows some of the sectors that have been hit recently with cyber attacks. So let me share my screen really quickly and we'll take a look at that. So now you should see my pie graph, and it's just kind of breaks down all the different sectors of businesses that have been hit by ransomware attacks specifically. And this is from Coveware down here. They're a company that Corvus actually uses as their forensic investigative people when they do deal with a breach. They have awesome resources online like this graph, and you'll see, professional services have been hit pretty big, as well as healthcare. You can imagine lawyers or architects and engineers, as well as healthcare, probably have a decent amount of data on their, employees as well as clients on hand, and so that's why they're pretty susceptible to some ransomware attacks. I'm going to go back from my screen and we'll continue on though. But as you can see, it's really everyone is susceptible to these type of attacks.
Yeah, and to build off that, Allison, I think that you're correct. It's not the if, it's when. It's the new thing that criminals are targeting. It's not the guy in the ski mask trying to break in the back door. It's the person with a computer trying to get in and get some of that information. And so one of the things I was hoping you could tell us about is how exactly do these cyber attacks cripple a business when they do happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's really tough to, put into perspective of how it could affect your daily business. But let me ask you this. Can your business be down for a week? Can it be down for 2 weeks? Could it be down for 21 days? Because that's the average number of days for downtime from a breach attack, according to Coveware and their blog on ransomware. And I don't know many businesses that could sustain being down from business for 21 days. So you can imagine how detrimental that could be to your business. And data breaches are very costly. There's a lot of costs that go into it. And I actually have another slide to show you, kind of giving you an estimate of what that breakdown of cost could look like if you do have a breach. And if you're just paying out of pocket, you can see how quickly all of this could add up. And you may not be the expertise to, know what you're handling or what you're paying. So let me share this screen. So you'll see on this one, it gives a nice breakdown. This estimated cost of breach at $2.1 million. I don't know a bunch of companies who could withstand that type of blow just out of pocket. It kind of breaks down per record what it would be. And over here on the left is the parameters I use to calculate this on app-based breach cost calculator. So you'll see, I did customer and employee data was hacked. Around 11,000 individuals were affected. This did include their personal info, their credit card info, and health info. Um, it was just a hack, like John mentioned, those cyber criminals, they are working while we're sleeping, trying to find those holes in our systems, trying to figure out passwords, and it's happening all the time. So that was the default option to choose on this calculator, if that tells you anything. And then, just kind of goes through all of these are pretty standard, medium size complexity of your network, average security controls. And again, it's at that 2.1 million estimate. It's pretty large if you don't have a policy in place.
Yeah, no, and I think that that's a great thing to illustrate. So, one of the important things that we can help with cyber liability is that not only getting you back on your feet, but that loss of income while these things are taking place, and that's very important. And Allison, you're a wealth of knowledge, and when I saw you got your designation on LinkedIn, I knew I had to reach out to you because what we're seeing on our side is the number of people that need it and the number of people that are taking it are not correlating with each other. There's a large gap we need to close. So, what is something that you wish that more businesses understood about these cyber threats?
I wish more businesses knew the risk management tools they could implement pretty much immediately that would help secure their system, help their risk look better to an underwriter who is going to write that cyber liability policy for them so it can help when they do have an instance. There are simple things like multi factor authentication. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a very hot topic in underwriting right now in the marketplace. Many companies are looking for insureds to have this in place, and that's simply when, if someone tries to access your network, they have to get a text message or some other second form of identification to confirm that is the actual person logging on. We're seeing that a lot. And then there's also some ports that are open automatically unless you shut them with a setting in Microsoft or, one of your systems. And I'm no IT person, but I am familiar enough to know that these ports, it's just a setting on your computer where you can close them, and that helps your system be a lot more secure, and less risk to an underwriter who's going to underwrite and offer that policy to you.
Great. And I think, we're going to cover a lot of different topics, Allison, and talk about how important it is. We're going to talk about how crippling it is. And sometimes these things fall on deaf ears. And so, one of the things that I was hoping you could also illustrate for us is what is a business owner putting at risk by not taking this cyber coverage, by not, we're going to have a call to action. By not taking that call to action, what are they putting at risk?
Yeah, so if you don't have a cyber policy in place and you do have an instance, you are risking that you have to handle that from start to finish on your own. Um, are you a specialist in cyber attacks? Are you a specialist in IT? Probably not. When a cyber attack happens, you're not going to want to be the one who has to handle everything and pay for everything out of pocket. You're going to want a forensic investigator to help you figure out what happened. You're going to want an IT specialist to help close that door the bad guy used to access your system. You're also probably going to want some help setting up call centers to notify everybody whose data was breached. And I surely don't know every state's laws on notifications. These, policies have that expertise included for you, so you don't have to worry about what law you have to follow in the state that you have a client whose information was hacked. All of these can add up, and as you could see, in the cost calculator we went through just before, there's many things that pay a lot of money in this instance, and if you don't have a policy, you're having to handle that all on your own. And a policy can help you have that expertise to handle it the best and mitigate your cost of being out of business as quickly as possible.
Yes, I think that's a great things that they need to look at. And cyber liability policies are not new to the industry. We're seeing more recognition as some of these big companies are affected, and it seems like on a regular basis we're seeing them on the news stories. COVID has sent a lot of people working from home, and so one of the things that we're seeing is the marketplace is changing. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity, Allison, to kind of talk about some of our people that may have had cyber insurance and they're seeing some changes, but people who are getting into it for the first time, what kind of changes have you seen in the cyber insurance marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. That's another great question. I've been working in cyber liability for about 6 years now, and it really is just now catching steam. But unfortunately, now attacks are happening more than ever. We just spoke to a claims adjuster the other day who focuses on cyber liability claims, and he went from having about 2 claims a week to having about 20 a week that he is now processing and dealing with. And because of those claims experiences the markets are having, we're seeing rate increases, we're seeing changes in appetite, we're seeing tighter underwriting, and all of this can change overnight depending on the latest attack that happened, or just data they're getting back on the claims they've been seeing. So it's changing quickly, it's changing drastically, but we are keeping up with it, and we have many partners and tools we use to help. John helps stay on top of things for you all as well. It's definitely a different marketplace than 1 to 2 years ago. Prices are up, terms are much different, and that's just the world we're living in now. We do have this online rater that we use with John. It goes to 8 markets at once. So it's a really nice tool for us to access many markets, see where the pricing's falling. We can get pricing indications to you all very quickly. And those are subject to completed applications, which are linked for review, and then e-signature to update the system. It's a pretty quick and slick route we go for getting some indications. But again, things are changing so quickly that we really have to make sure we're confirming those terms with a signed application before we proceed, because every day we're seeing new risk management tools that they want in place, or just changes in appetites.
Wonderful, yeah. And one of the great things in that proposal that Allison was talking about is it does a great job breaking down the glossary of terms. So, regardless of what industry you're coming in, you will be able to best understand the different levels of coverages, how you're being protected, and truly one of the big things we talk about here, what your options are. Our mantra is that we serve our community through protection and education. And so, that's a portion of what this video is, and that's a portion of what those proposals and why Arlington Row for us is emerging as a leader in that cyber liability space, is because we're going to be able to have options and talk about it. So we're at the end of our conversation here, and here's your call to action. So if you're a business owner, somebody has to be talking to you about cyber liability insurance. We would love to be that person for you, but if not, make sure you're having a conversation with somebody, because this is one of the quickest and fastest ways to cripple your business, that you are probably not as prepared for as you are some other things. So I just want to thank Allison so much for coming on and taking some time with us to talk about these things. If you have questions, you can call into the office, you can email us. We'd love to put some proposals together. We'd love to put Allison's new designation to work, as she has worked hard to get that, and truly show why she's a leader in her field. So thank you so much for coming on with us, Allison.
Thank you, John. It's been great. Let's sell some cyber.
All right, sounds great.
Thank you.
Bailey Family Insurance. We have plans for you.